I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. If you wanna take it back to the 50s, maybe I'm not the guy for you. You're dying not to work, but work until you die, you know that's true. Have you thought it through? Cause you love to tell me what to do. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you's upside down, and I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. I don't wanna put on a smile, everybody expects me to. So you can keep your suit and your tie, gotta hope that it strangles you. Yeah, I do. You realize that you don't need to impress the ones you hate, that's so up. Cause everything you own just ends up owning you. So, dear society, you suck. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down, and I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Ooh. Dear society, you suck. Am I the only one who's outside of this box? Who cares about your posts? I know they're only fake. Show us what you own and how much money that you make. Yeah, I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. Keep your stupid job, pretend that you're the person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying inside. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down. I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Yahooza.
Whoa, I'm dark. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Marcus Morning Radio Show. That is right. I need to brighten up the world a little bit, because holy moly, oh boy, that ain't the way.
You sound so far away.
I sound, oh, it's because of this. What is that doing now? Did that improve my situation? Did that improve the situation, my friends? Greetings and good morning, you beautiful humans. Exner, you angel from heaven brought to us because not only do we need it, we desperately want it. And we're just happy you're here, my dear. It's absolutely wonderful. The weekend has come and passed. The Marcus is back on schedule, and it is officially February 2nd. It's a new month. What does that mean? Nothing, unless you want it to. If you want it to mean something, New Year's resolutions matter. If you want the first of the month to be the day you start something, that's fine. It is an excuse, absolutely. We look for any reason we can to put off doing things we don't want to do. But at the end of the day, I can tell you, doing the things we don't want to do typically lead to the life we want to live. It is a weird give and take back and forth, my friends, let me tell you. But as we just kind of don't stress about the failures, we work hard and think about the future successes, and we make plans that will lead us to that success. Hopefully we make better decisions than Netflix. But no, ultimately, this was a great weekend, y'all. We had a good time, me and Lindsay. You know, it just, even the bad days, and I say bad so loosely, my bad days, where I'm like kind of dead inside, I'm not talking a lot. I'm a little disassociated. Can't quite get my feet on the ground, because ultimately the problem is when I get lost in the sauce, I get lost in like the abyss, the blackness, right? I don't go anywhere, but I'm sure as hell not here. It's almost like an out-of-body experience, y'all. I'm telling you, it's wild. It is a wild situation to be, sometimes out of control of your own life. We think all the thoughts we think, but our body just doesn't react. You either sit on your bed or lay in your bed, sit on the couch, smoke your weed, drink your liquor. You lean into the vices, You don't want to. You're telling yourself not to, and yet you still end up there. But here's the thing. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to remind you that is not your life. That's just something that's currently happening or has happened in the past. That's a part of your life. Because everything happened before and everything will happen after those bad days, those bad moments, those bad months, years. It doesn't matter. I'm here to remind you that life is so unbelievably long, and that's a good thing. It's unbelievably long because we get to experience the whole gambit of emotions that the world has to offer. Imagine a world without emotions. Imagine a world where you're never sad and therefore you're never happy. You have to feel sorrow sometimes. You have to feel pain sometimes because it truly makes us appreciate and yearn for the good. So don't be scared of the bad. Just learn how to make your life work within it. And I promise you, y'all, we're going to keep taking over this world together. Each and every one of you is capable of total domination and application of excellence like the world has never seen. It's simply a matter of how do you do it? Where's the skill and what do we do next? That's what it is. It's that simple. But in a world of complexity, we got some news today. So not only are we talking Netflix, they're making some moves that I ultimately think is going to backfire. I think it's going to be bad for them. And it's not going to like blow them up, but it's sure as hell, it's not going to be good. This is not going to be a good pivot point for Netflix. Oh! Okay. We are talking how when the government tries to make safety convenient, ultimately we are the ones who suffer. So when the wardens make new rules to keep the inmates safe, typically the inmates have even less freedom. And then we're also going to talk about this really weird situation that's happening with all of these chicken farms. We have an assault on the chicken army, and I will not stand for it. Okay? The chicken's going to be going. Just be ready for the chickens story because this is ridiculous, man. Like, if y'all don't want to have a civil war over your own independent rights, let's go have a civil war over the chickens. Because we gotta come together at something, right? Let's all just give away our civil liberties. Fuck it, right? Whatever, not a big deal. But the chickens deserve better. So that's what we're talking about today, but we are definitely going to start it off with Netflix. Okay? Because Netflix is a staple at this point. They've been around forever. Netflix was one of the original streaming services that did it right. They actually just gave you what you wanted with very little bullshit attached. You paid them money, they gave you discs that you could watch. You gave their discs back, they gave you more discs. It was a literal perfect business plan. Okay, there was no politics, there was no messages, there was no modern audience. It was, what do you want? Let me give it to you. The perfect relationship between any consumer and any business is that, an exchange of goods and services. It should not expand any more of that. I don't care if you become billionaires. I don't care if you become rich and wealthy, and now all of a sudden you have power. Don't change the world with your power. Fuck you. Because you didn't obtain power through cultural influences. You obtained power through business practices. So the moment that you change from being a business to like a philanthropy shit, you're no longer providing the service that you originally were given or people were paying for. Okay, people don't go to Netflix to be told how to think. People don't go to Netflix to be told what's good, what's bad, what's moral, what's not. That's what people go to Twitter for, right? Because people can bitch and moan for free on Twitter. They're not going to pay money for their moral high ground. It's just how people are. They're not. That's why Netflix is dying, because all they have, and don't get offended, but they've had a huge wave of woke stuff. And the old adage, go get woke, go broke, that's exactly what happened, man. They made a bunch of shitty movies that nobody wanted to watch, nobody cared about, and so they stopped watching it. It is that simple. It'd be like if a Western channel started playing sci-fi movies exclusively. It's like, what are you doing, you dumb ass? And I'm not saying you don't make woke content. That's not the point. The point is the woke content that they did make was shit and nobody watched it, period. That's how fucking give and take business works. If you spend tens of millions of dollars to make a show and it makes one of millions of dollars, that is a non-return, right? And that too. So because they're making stuff that even if it is good and the track record is kicking them in the balls because they're making good shows that they cancel within the first season. And it's like, people are like, whoa, we wanted to watch that show. It was good. Like, yeah, we know. And they say thanks for your money and move on. Because ultimately, here's what I don't know. I don't research. I research enough. I wonder, has there been a change in leadership in Netflix within the last 5 to 10, right? Has there been a new leadership in Netflix? Because I tell you what, man, Netflix was perfect forever. Their UI, nobody beat them. Their user interface. The content they had all the shows we wanted, all the movies we wanted, man. And I know they got kind of screwed because Paramount Plus and all these new streaming places are pulling the licenses, so Friends got taken off, The Office got taken off. God, I hate Paramount Plus so much. So Paramount Plus took all the good stuff, and I will never pay for your service because you took what was used to be convenient and now you made it inconvenient for your benefit and gain. And that is why, as a consumer, I respect myself too much to not only pay more for less, but also I will not encourage your bad behavior. That's how it works. As a consumer, we speak with our dollar, we speak with our money. Okay, so when it comes to Netflix, I haven't even gotten to the story yet, but when it comes to Netflix, if you're not giving the people what they want, they're going to stop paying for it. And when that happens, you get up to 100 million users who are password sharing, who don't have an account. You know why? Because they don't feel your service is worth $10. That is what it means. That is why people don't pay for accounts. Of course people are cheap, but that's not the majority. That's not 100 million, okay? People are cheap. People like to share. People like to, hey, I'll pay for it, man. I got you, okay? The majority of people who are password sharing are doing it because they will not sign up for Netflix because it's not worth it. That is the grand majority of those 100 million. Now, I guarantee you if Netflix started making bangers, right, and they had more shows than, what is it called, The Stranger Wings or whatever, if they had some stuff better than like one show, are you going to pay $10 a month for one show? There's a bunch of people that will. There's a bunch of people that will. But will you pay $10 a month for nothing? Will you pay $10 a month just because it used to have stuff you like? That's where a lot of accounts currently are at. These are people that have had Netflix for 5+ years, man. And they've let their family members use it. They've let their Airbnb use it. They've let their buddies use it. They have stopped using Netflix for years. They haven't even logged into their Netflix in years. The only reason it gets any use at all is the people that are sharing their accounts. So guess what happens? The moment that those people can no longer use those accounts, homie cancels. That is the truth of it. And that's the part. I know Netflix ain't stupid. I know they're not stupid. Extras people, you're amazing. But seriously, I know that they know this. They're not dumb. You don't become Netflix on accident. The part where I think they're missing the long-term effect here. I think they're underplaying the word of mouth kind of like moral angle of it. They're missing the point. The point being that Netflix, for a very, very long time, has been a community type situation. It's been, people see Netflix. Hey, man, can I get your password? That is how the culture of Netflix has been for years. And as a company, I get it. You're bleeding. You are absolutely running out of money because you're putting that money in stupid stuff. You need to go back to what you were good for. An easy viewing experience in the grand majority of your time should be about content acquisition, not creation. Y'all suck. You can't make good content. You're trying, but you suck. You're not putting money in shows that work or are worth it. And if they are good, you cancel them. So what Netflix needs to do is they have to get back to what they were good at. Make it the hub for shows for nostalgia. Be the place that everybody goes to watch their favorite shows. Don't be new. Netflix was never new. Netflix was never for the latest show, the newest show. Never. Even from its complete iteration. Because you started from DVDs. It was for the binge. And because it's for the binge, if you spend $10 million to make a show, blast all 9 episodes at once, people watch it in a week, and then they cancel. That's the part you're doing so stupidly, is you don't understand what the consumption of your product is. Okay? As you don't understand the product, but not even that, as you move away from what your product was, so will your customers. People didn't go to Netflix because it was the new hotness. They went to Hulu because Hulu was more for like, hey, look at the live TV. And you beat the shit out of Hulu for the longest time. Hulu was free because it had to be. It could not compete with Netflix. But now no one cares about your shows. You're just not there. You're just not there. That is the only bad part about it. Is Netflix could pivot in a heartbeat and it would be the top dick again. It would. I know it would. If it put its money into acquisition and it started marketing as the nostalgia channel, the old school, you know what I mean? I promise you, people would be like, oh shit, I can watch Gargoyles on there. And I know the licensing is what makes it so impossible. Basically, Netflix is getting bullied out of the top. They don't own the rights to all this stuff. And all these cocksuckers are just like, no, we want our piece. We want our piece. And that's the shame. Because Netflix is catching it, man. Netflix is catching it deep. And I just, as an old school Netflix user, I don't want to watch Netflix die. I don't want Netflix to fall to the wayside. I want this company to keep doing good. And right now, changing it so that password sharing has to, let me give you some quick details. We'll wrap it up. Okay. So essentially we got 100 million users worldwide that use the service through the login credentials of someone else. What's up, Story, you sexy bitch? Right? So that's the thing. So as of today, you have to re-log in your Netflix device on your home network every 31 days. So every 31 days, you have to reconnect to whatever account is associated or whatever address is associated with your Netflix account. So basically, anybody out of state, sucks to suck, man. You're done in 31 days, right? The only way to avoid this is to buy your own account. that is what is happening. That is what is happening, and Netflix stands behind it. They know what they're about to lose. They know how much this is going to hurt, and as much as they're going to gain some accounts, I guarantee you, man, the long term, this is done. This is taking out Netflix. Long term, I'm talking 5-10. So they have time. They have time to pivot. They have time to do it right. But don't lead with the money. You did that when you made all those stupid shows. You thought you could spend a shitload of money and all of a sudden you would matter. That's not how it works. Spend your money on the consumer and the consumer will spend their money on you. It is basic as basic gets. Now listen to this music.
scrub my arms. Ooh, my ears and my nose and my face and my hands and my knees. Ooh, you, 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 you. Bubble bag, call my name. Every morning up with the sun. Oh, bubble bag, bubble bag. Come on, everyone, jump in one by one. It's so much fun. Ooh. Are you ready for rubber duck? Oh, hands up, here comes Rubber Duck. Say, did you know I named him twice? 1, 2, Milton, or Dylan or Hilton. Now up he goes, riding on my boat. Scrub my feet. Ooh, you, 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 you. Well, scrub my arms. Ooh.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, man. I love that song so much. It's just fun, isn't it? Oh, I just realized you guys can see every time I adjust my balls. Wonder if anybody noticed till I brought it up. I would have noticed. I would have noticed every time. All right, y'all. That was Bubble Song by Luna the Cat. It's fun. Who says songs can't be silly? Assholes, right? Purists. People who've never heard Jack Black. And those kind of people are not for me. I'll tell you that. So I'll tell you a story. Tooth pain is some of the worst pain you can have. It is all encompassing and it's horrible, man. I have been blessed with as good teeth as I could, minus the little thin from acid, but the acid reflux. But I've been blessed with not having many cavities. I think I've only had one in my life, maybe 2 at the most. And I can tell you, I don't envy you. I just pity you. But it's not always bad to pity somebody, right? I mean, how come everybody's got to take pity but not me? Huh, Doc? I want to know. I am here to rewire the world. I am sick of these people thinking that everything has to be negative. You can have good pity. Why can't you have good pity? Is it the definition of the word, perhaps? Isn't pity just feeling sorry for somebody? Right? Ultimately, that's what it is. And I just feel sorry for your tooth situation, man. That sucks. I pity you, Story. I pity you straight from my heart, man. We're bringing it back. You broke half a tooth and it was you pulled half a tooth and it was semi-loose because wow. Oh, man. But it's good pity, man. It's pity from the heart. It's the best kind of pity. But you know we got some weird stuff going on here, man. I'll tell you. So as much as the news likes to make everything seem more important than it is, they do a really good job of downplaying a lot of stuff also. Okay? Because there's some fuckery afoot when it comes to these chicken farms, because we are just too beholden to these giant factory farms. And because of that, when something bad happens, society is affected too much. That's how you know that a system isn't the best system that it could be, right? If everything is reliant on one point of failure or a very select few point of failures. Why would somebody think that that is the plan? That is the good plan. We got no improvement to do. Because we have some weird stuff going on right now in the U.S. where chickens, somebody is on the war path and it really feels as if it's an attack on the chicken industry. This many coincidences don't make sense. So the most recent chicken incident was about 100,000 hens died at an egg farm in Kentucky. This is CT, right? Connecticut. What's CT? Connecticut. At a Connecticut farm. 100,000 chicken souls, man, screamed out all at once. Think about how horrible that is. Because ultimately, if I don't care what your thoughts are on animals, if that many creatures that are alive, are under your care, you should not be able to have such a catastrophic failure. I mean, that to me, 100,000 of anything dying is a complete and total failure of the system. That's of the company. So, but this being only one example of this has been happening for 2 years. There's been like over 200 chicken farms that have been set ablaze, damaged somehow. Like there's a full-on assault on the chicken industry right now. And I don't mean that it's this outside nefarious, cabal. That could be part of it as well. But I think there is something going on where they are trying to ramp down the chicken industry. And a big part of that is why? See, but PETA's so public. That's the thing that why this is such a weird story is because for the last 2 years, there's been hundreds of attacks with very few claims as to who and why and all of that stuff. PETA's very public. They love to go out and say, this is why we did it. Like who saw those idiots who, there was this one group, man, they were at a chicken farm and they were protesting and they chained themselves to that conveyor belt. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but a conveyor belt, they hang the chickens by the feet. I'm not a big fan of factory farming, but y'all want your chicken nuggets, right? Keep going to Wendy's. That's the truth. So they hang these chickens by their feet and then it's on a conveyor belt that like goes around the factory, right? Well, these idiots thought it would be really funny to take chains and connect their heads to the machine. They connected their heads to the machine and were like, do it, I dare ya. Well, they turned on the fucking conveyor belt. They said that it just happened. No, some dude's like, these fucking hippies. Psh, hit that button, and that conveyor belt started to go. Luckily, they got the dude. They unhooked the guy, but so many dumb ways to die. You ain't wrong. But this guy's head was getting squished between a pole and the chain. Luckily, they stopped it. But can you imagine getting your head popped off because you change yourself to a chicken conveyor belt? There's some doozies. That one would be the top. Because I respect why these people are trying to stop the factory farms. It is immoral. It is gross. And ultimately, we don't need chicken nuggets that much. We don't need fast food that much. People need to get back to cooking so that we can have normal farms. We can have normal farms that don't need to feed the absolute masses. Because the problem is these farms exist because of all the prepared food. This is not a result of home cooking. Okay, this is not a result of people staying inside and just making their own food, being self-sufficient. This is a result of 8 million chicken nuggets being sold every 20 minutes. That's an absolute lie of a figure, but you get my point. Those companies have to have a supply chain that can keep up with that volume, period. If you look at the supply chain of Burger King, McDonald's, like all of these humongous food providers, they have their own ecosystem on how this shit works, y'all. So as we continue to demand more ease, more access, more convenience, more. They ramp up. They are responding to the demands of the masses. But the problem is when that ecosystem that is for a specific type of food production, once that starts to dominate and take over the rest of the food supply, the more traditional food supply of traditional cooking with, not convenience in mind, more about the preparation of it, it just both suffer because they're now so intertwined that it's so difficult to buy local. It's so difficult to not buy from these giant chains. And that doesn't make the giant chains necessarily bad. It's just awful that the ecosystem exists, that the smaller guys just don't stand a chance. We've literally just traded quality for convenience. And right now what's happening is people are paying $18, $20 for 12 to 24 eggs, depending on where you are. That is so wild, man. And the part that's so frustrating is the things that people are mad about. Like they're mad because it's so expensive. They're complaining about the inconvenience while not really putting any effort into understanding why. There are so many facets to inflation. So between the ramping down and attacks on these chicken farms, as well as bird flu, as well as panic, the price right now is insane. But you know what would normalize this? If people had a better understanding on how their food is produced, right? If they took 2 seconds to just understand how reliant they are on something that can be shut off in an hour, that shit is crazy, man. So this was a current fire. It was unfortunate. There's not too much to it. There was a fire. Chickens died. The bigger story here, though, is how come this is happening? How come the chickens are under attack? And then how come you're seeing news articles are trying to have people not get backyard chickens? That's the other side of the story that's weird, is not only are all of these factories under attack, it appears that way. If you put this shit together, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but in what world do 200 plus factories burn down in 2 years and all of the same industry? Come on. At that point, it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's just an observation of details. It's just there, So ultimately, with all of this happening, the bigger question that so many people need to ask is, why is this happening? How come we have a system that has such a point of failure that it can lead to a almost 5x increase in price while also having just untold amounts of deaths be a part of that? There was a factory that on purpose killed 5.2 million chickens because it got shut down. So they just closed the vents and they died. They closed the vents in the chicken enclosure and they killed them all. That's how they killed them. 5.2 million. 5.2 million birds. It's just smothered. That's what they just got hot, stopped breathing. It's criminal. It should be. And these are the things that are happening right now. And I can tell you, in a world where that stuff is happening, you want to make sure that when the world gets even more difficult, because it's not going to there's not going to be an apocalypse, y'all. There's not going to be this lightning bolt, fire wave, lava thing that just all of a sudden makes us all realize that the world is over. It's just going to be shitty. People are going to be hungry and people are going to be eating all the same stuff and watching all the same things and saying all the same words. We're not going to be doing anything that brings us joy. We're just going to be doing what makes us survive. And if you have your basic needs already met, you'd be amazed at how easy it is to live even if the world's burning around you. Go out and get a couple chickens. You might enjoy them. A lot of poop. A lot of poop.
Love should be easy. Why should it not? When all you want is to be loved, is to be loved. But love ain't easy. You taught me that.
Alrighty. That was You Left Behind. I don't know if you could tell from the lyrics, but that one was called You Left Behind by Spring Gang. You know, they didn't capitalize Spring. They didn't capitalize the first letter of their own song or their own band name. What does that say about them? You know? It's the little things that add up to the collective greatness. You know that, right? We don't love our favorite artists simply because they sing well or they play a guitar well. It is the totality of their talent that makes us come in and appreciate who they are. Like you have people like Levy, a true king amongst kings. Not only has the facial hair of a Sicilian, he has the mannerisms of an eccentric poet, and it's just a beautiful thing, is what it is. And I have wonderful, great people around me who hear it all the time. But angels from heaven who shine light like Exner, storyteller Merc, the what are they called? The bards who bring tales that make our lives be inspired and smile. Extremely intelligent people like Liquid Sloth, who not only inspire me with their content, but also influence the world by dropping knowledge bombs that we all need. And anybody I forgot, I love your faces and I'm happy you're here. But there's something weird going on, and as we go into the last show, the last segment, last article of the day, we have quite the collection, coincidental collection of quite concerning and copious amounts of, I don't have a C word for that, of bullshit. I couldn't think of corruption. We have copious amounts of corporate corruption, and if they're not careful, you all need to be concerned, because alliteration can be hard, especially when you're not prepared. But I, for the longest time, even way before streaming, way before, I've always kind of been on the internet a little, but I have always had an issue with government. I really have. And I worked for them for 10 years. Trust me. Okay. But I have always had an issue with the government making it easier for them to keep us safe. Basically, every single time the government says we are doing this for you, it means that our lives will be worse. And they are justifying it. They're saying, yeah, I'm breaking your legs because I love you. And it's like, listen here, misery lady, Kathy Bates, you're scaring me. Put that sledgehammer down and let me walk free. That's the government, man. The government is Kathy Bates, and we are the author that has everything they want. Because without us, they are nothing. That is the best analogy ever. If you've ever seen the show Misery or the movie Misery, that is our relationship to the government. The government loves us so much. They admire us so much. They are so just enthralled with our existence that they would kill us to keep us safe. That is how much they care. They care so hard, they'll carry you right to the grave. Oh, you don't want to put on a mask for your own safety? We will beat you until you do. We will take you from your family, put you in a prison until you care enough about yourself so that we can let you go. And it's unnerving. It is unnerving. Now, imagine, you got to think of it kind of like your parents. As much as I hate it, it's very true. The government loves to act like our parents. They act as if they know better. They are teaching us lessons. If we go to jail, it's to teach us a lesson, and like ultimately you have to have somewhat of a parenting state, because there are people who are assholes, and you can't have a society that just goes around killing assholes, because there needs to be an asshole level that has to be reached before regular people can just kill each other over asshole-isosity, because a lot of people would probably end lives over theft. And I think there's differing degrees of theft, but ultimately we're not here to talk about that. That's law. The law is crazy. There's a lot going on with the law, but it is what it is, and we have to learn to navigate it best way we can. But what happens too often is under the guise of safety, the government gets into our fucking lives a little more. Okay, if you know anything about me, you know that me and the TSA, I don't like them. I don't like them. I think they are the biggest waste of taxpayer monies that could ever be implemented. And there is a million times more better things over there that we could do that would keep us realistically safer post 9/11, post-terrorist world, right? One, stop acting like we can stop bad things from happening. That's the number one. But two, go with the systems that are proven to work, and don't go with the system that by their own accords has a 92% fail rate or whatever. It's ridiculous, okay? But that's the system we have, and it will always be a battle. That is what it is. The TSA exists, and now that there's money involved, it will almost never go away. That's how the government works. But what happens is as they continue to try to make it easier and easier and easier for them to keep us safe, they keep chipping away all of the things that make us free in the first place. All of the things that make life worth living come with a certain degree of risk. If you leave your house, bad things can happen, period. If you stay in your house, bad things can happen. You can have gas leaks. You can have a meteor fly in through your roof. A car can come plumbing through. You can just have a heart attack. You can have a poop that's too hard and blow a gasket and you're dead. So in a world where everything can kill us, whose responsibility is it to stay safe? Whose responsibility is it to live a life that to the best of your ability will keep you going smooth? It's yours. It's ours. Okay? It's the loved ones. It's your community. It is not the long dick of the law's government we know better than you's job to swing it around and tell everybody how to live. Where there's too many of us from too many different places with too many different backgrounds to have this asshole mentality that everybody's going to be the same and everybody needs the same things. We are a sea of individuals. We are a sea of unique and worthwhile people whose ideas have merit. Does that mean that everybody gets a platform? Of course fucking not. You have to contribute to be considered. But what I'm saying is we need to be left to our own, what's that phrase? Dresses? We need to be left up to our own, what is that phrase? Our own devices. Thank you. Because ultimately we're smart enough to. This idea that the world didn't exist before security cameras and what we're about to talk about, biometrics and fingerprint scans and eyeball scanners, and we lived before this. But the problem is we've become so reliant. How many people carry cash anymore? How many people have one option of payment? So then what happens? What happens when your one option goes away? Now, granted, we have a sea of electronic, and you can do PayPal, you can do all this, but guess what? It's all digital. It is all digital. Who knows how the internet works? Who understands that the internet can be shut off? So I don't care if you have PayPal, Pay Me, Pay You, Pay Us. Every single one of those apps does not function unless one key important unless one key point of failure is there. So do you have 4 options or do you have 1? I would say you have 1. You have the internet option. You have the digital option. And within that digital realm, you have several options, of course. That's the illusion of choice. That is the illusion of, I can do it all these different ways. No, you can't. You can do it online. And that is why the freedom and the not unregulated, because that is taken ignorantly. It's not the unregulated. It is the morally regulated with a basis of freedom first every fucking time. That is how laws should be written. There should be a massive negative impact that the only way to stop it is with regulation. And it needs to be culturally important. It can't just be the whims of an annoyed person. It cannot just be the desires of an emotionally weak individual. If you don't like barbecuing in the park after 7, tough dick. Some people do. You don't get to tell me what parks I get to be in and what time. I am not a child, and neither are you. You don't need a curfew. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. And that is where we're at right now. And I'm supposed to be talking about, so basically, in the world of they're making it easier, biometrics, baby. They've been coming for a long time. Who's traveled recently? They scan your face. Now, ultimately, there's a lot of people that says, hey, if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you got to worry about? Yeah, you're not doing anything wrong until they make a new law. You're not doing anything wrong until you owned a legal pistol grip, and now you can't. Ohio, Chicago, Illinois. That just happened. You know what I mean? You used to not be a criminal when you smoked at 18 until you were. So again, when you say, Mark, there's nothing to worry about until they change the law. And that is why it matters. That is why it's important. We talked about this last week. You don't revel in the pain of your enemies, because what if the power you wield gets turned on you? This is no fucking different. So now they have this whole world of biometrics. They know where you live, what you look like, how you smile, what your farts smell like. You fuck up even a little, one time. Now what happens? You're in the system forever. And anybody who's been in the system knows what that means. Now the solution isn't to hide. The solution isn't to go outside. The solution isn't to not go outside. The solution isn't to participate either. The solution is to remain vigilant and hold on to the freedoms that you do have, because they're precious, they're important, and they matter. They matter. And if you don't take care of things that matter, your life is worse because of it. And that's why I tell you guys, you got me down extra. That's why I tell you guys to stay so in love with yourself, because you can never forget that you matter. You're important. Your thoughts are important. They're very seldom more important than somebody else's, but they're important to you. And in a world where you have powerful people continually trying to take away your ability to just live your life unencumbered, we have to make sure that we just don't blindly comply for the sake of convenience, man. Oh, man. So it really comes down to you. It comes down to each one of us. We have to love ourselves enough to live. We have to care enough to argue. And we have to want it bad enough to fight. And I think there's no better way, especially on a red bar, of losing my bit rate. I just can't think of a better way to end the show than saying thank you guys so much for being.
I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't want to be like you.
That was super funny, Liquid. I had to come back just for that. The WF, you can't silence me, you motherfuckers. I'll see you tomorrow.
I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't want to be like you. If you want to take it back to the 50s, maybe I'm not the guy for you. You're dying not to work, but work until you die, you know that's true. Have you thought it through? 'Cause you love to tell me what to do. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe you're too upside down, and I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. I don't wanna put on a smile, everybody expects me to. So you can keep your suit and your tie, gotta hope that it strangles you. Yeah, I do. You guys, you don't need to impress the ones you hate. That's so f***ed up. Cause everything you own just ends up owning you. So, dear society, you suck. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down, and I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Ooh. Dear society, you suck. Am I the only one who's outside of this box? Who cares about your posts? I know they're only fake. Show us what you own and how much money that you make. Yeah, I know that you're trying to fix me, but I don't wanna be like you. Keep your stupid job, pretend that you're the person you wanted to be. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. And you're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying not to work, but work until you die. You're dying inside. Say no, I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. You should go and get out, I'll make you regret it. Someone like you should worry about. Maybe it's you who's upside down. I'm not like you, I don't think that you get it. Yowza.
Bonus for YouTube. What do you call a fly without wings?
Are you
A
really?
walk.